Welcome back to our St. Louis Blues rebuild in Franchise Hockey Manager 11. We start Season 2 in the first off-season that we actually have full control over the team. We're going to have the draft in just a minute, but just looking at our open offers here, we did offer Lockshow, Burush, and then Johnson as well, and Drouin, Pleshkov, Femis, Vidasek, and Vero. We end up offering all contracts. Not that much, though. We will look at the free agency, though. And I know we could offer Rantanen money, and we could easily be the top bid, but I don't feel as though it'd be fair and realistic with where this franchise is headed. I think the reality is that Rantanen probably wouldn't sign with us, whereas most of the other players I feel as though probably would. But yeah, we're not going to end up doing this because I don't think it's at the time that that it makes sense. I mean, there's a chance that Mikko Rantanen might not want to come to us anyways. But I feel as though at 28, he's going to want to go to a team that is more of a contender than necessarily a paycheck. I could be wrong, but I don't think it just doesn't feel right to kind of do that kind of stuff. Like Okulov, we probably could end up signing, and there's no problem with that because he's never played in the NHL before. And most of these players we're just going to end up wheeling and dealing anyways. Franchise player, I don't know why I would say that. Yeah, so we're not going to wheel and deal any of these, or we're going to wheel and deal these players anyways, so it doesn't really matter as to what we end up doing with those ones. But obviously, I have a little bit more respect for players like Rantanen and players that have already established themselves in the NHL. So we're not going to end up going crazy for those, especially since I know we could flip him, and I know once we end up being competitive that he's going to be around like 30, 31. So it doesn't really make sense to make him kind of wait. Paul Mary would be one of those players that we could sign, but still, he's 34. He's only going to end up getting worse, and he's probably bound to go to a contender. Whereas someone like Drouin, I mean, he did play for Montreal last season, so I don't think that, or sorry, a couple seasons ago, so I don't think that he's going to be as well established. We can also trade him throughout the season. We might actually go for Bastian here. That he could actually help our team. But I'm going to try and keep it as true to the realism. There is a good chance that he could sign with us. And we do need the cap money anyways, because I do think that we have a decent amount waiting for us. Yeah, we have around 30 million, so minus the 8. So probably around 20 million this season, then 20 million next season. So it kind of makes sense. This is what our roster looks like at the moment. We still have Kyrou and Thomas and Shen. Neighbors, we finally got the extension, and then Holloway as well. Dvorsky is now going to play his first season with us, but I thought we could send him on his way. Baldock gets the extension for next season. Obviously, Dean will probably end up parting ways with Vorobyev as well. He is only 2-star, and Hugh McGinn, we might end up getting rid of as well. Kulak, I think we might try and trade now. I think we only got him for his salary, but transaction logs, we did extend Broberg as well. Henrique, we ended up getting rid for a 4th. Pajot for a 4th as well, and we did send Jacob Gubi to the NHL just for the preseason. But we'll try and make some trades here. I think we still might have an opportunity to do it. So we still got 2 more. We did finish towards the bottom last season. I'll get into that a little bit later. Let's just see if we can offload some of the players. Kulak, let's see what he would be worth. And then we'll kind of look at what... So a 6th rounder for that. Yeah, we'll give it up. We'll give it to Anaheim. That's fine. But I do think that that makes Kulak actually a decent trade that we end up doing. Believe it or not, we end up getting Kulak and Henrique for Binnington, Walker. So we end up getting a 1st round pick as well. With that, we end up giving up a 6th and a 5th this season for a 1st next season to Oilers. And then Kulak for a 6th. So we basically got the 6th back. So all in all, it only really cost us a 5th in Binnington. Walker probably wasn't going to end up doing anything for us anyways. So, but looking at how we did last season, I mean, we didn't do that great, obviously. But I do think the insult to injury that really kind of really hurt us was the fact that we ended up finishing third bottom, and then in the draft now, we end up getting fifth pick, which does kind of suck. It does make it so that we're probably more of the Schaefer kind of realm. We won't be able to get Hoggins, which does suck. Misa could be available for us as well, and Brady Martin as well. But we'll kind of end up allowing that to happen. Hoggins obviously goes first. He goes to the Penguins. In the other save that I ended up having, he went to Boston. So it made more sense actually that he went to Boston because he did go to Boston College. Next picks is Parley Martoni. Martin actually goes second, so Martoni would be a good pick for us. Hensler goes third, and we could get Martoni. Michael Misa ends up going. We could get Martoni or Roger McQueen. It feels though Martoni seems like the consensus. He does play for the Brampton Steelhead, so we might end up actually doing something where we end up going to one of the games because I thought it was CHL, not OHL, but it is kind of cool that he ends up playing there. Roger McQueen was projected to be 12th, so we could still get him with our first, I think. Oh no, we don't get a first actually, so yeah, I guess we have to go for Martoni. Not much of a defensive threat, but counterattacking forward. He does look pretty good. We'll look at his scouting. I mean, his strengths and weaknesses, playmaking, great on-ice vision. He's a good skater. Physical is above average. The weakest part of his game is his tangibles. Gets injured a bit more often than you like to see. That is not what I want for playoffs. Martoni gets along with everyone and yeah, doesn't get too complacent. So he would be the second that we could get. Getting open, nothing's really jumping out for me though. Roger McQueen, bravery, determination. He does look more solid, I will say that. 67 grade last season. He is a 2-star as well. Schaefer's the next option. I always like grabbing defenders early though. He is projected to be 13th pick, so feels though it's a bit of a reach at 4 or at 5. And then Cole Rechny. I don't remember seeing him in the other save, so we might end up staying clear of him. Joshua Gavin does look like, or Jordan Gavin looks pretty interesting. He was supposed to be 15th, so I mean, I will take the gamble on Martoni just because he is he lives near us, so we'll end up taking that chance. I feel as though I'm going to regret it though, but we could just add another year to our rebuilding. We don't get another pick for third, so let's look at who got picked right after us. And yeah, Cole Rechny and then Roger McQueen. So Roger McQueen probably wasn't a far-fetched pick that we could have ended up doing. And now it's goalies. So I do believe I got Lee Shergut in one of the saves. Cash Koch, I do like the name. He is a center and a right winger at 72. Yeah, we do have a couple third-round picks, so we don't necessarily have to be overzealous here. Kodajarvi we might end up grabbing at some point as well. Ruggiero, I think it might be a bit too early to get a goalie here though. Rimpinen's another one at 18. Oof. He is 19 years old though. I don't like grabbing goalies that early. I feel as though free agency is definitely an opportunity for that. So Lee Shergut was 61 projected. We'll get Shergut, and then we'll get probably Koch here, I think. Yeah, Koch was 72, so you can get a value with that as well. It's probably Coach too. Kodajarvi's still there. We do probably need a defender, I would say. So it's between him, Phillips. Phillips is 3-star, 58 is what he was projected. Very sportsmanlike and stays out of trouble. Pretty good stamina. The weakest part of his game is physical. He is prone to injuries, so we don't need another player that's prone to injuries. But he does play left and right D. And he's a lefty. So I do like that. But Cristoforo, yeah, it feels though we'll go with that. We'll go with Cristoforo. Kotajarvi's still there. Rimpinen is also there. Rimpinen is 18th. We'll take a chance with our. Oh, we can't even get him now. Okay. Rimpinen, yeah, Rimpinen's gonna be gone now. I did think that we had the next one. McCann, I do think I saw him at some point. It says 89th. He is only a 1-star, but he is also 18. It says that he could be a fringe player like Pajot, so at least he's good enough to be able to play for us. And then he does get injured. Everyone's injury prone. We could be setting ourselves up for the most injury-ridden team. But we'll look at his stats once again. His puck handling is decent. Offensive read. At least it's probably not going to happen all at once. He did only log 8 minutes of ice time last season, but he was 17. Only 15 points. He is more of a counter-attacking, so maybe he develops into a defending one. He is 6'3". How does that guy get injured so often? We'll take a chance. I'm all okay. I'm all for taking chances this season. Pata, stamina is pretty decent. He's not projected to be picked in this draft, so we could have a goalie as well. Thibodeau, another right winger. We don't really need right wingers. We'll go for ability first. Justin Charbonneau, he's going to be more of an offensive, not really defensive. How can he be a grinder when his hitting is so low? He does score points though, 76. He is also 18. 83 picked is what it was projecting. And very high IQ. So smart player, has above average strength. The weakest part of his game is defensive. And then Justin LaRose, and I think I'm going to count that guy out. He's just too old. At 20, you should be on the verge of starting. We could grab him as a free agent though. Thibodeau or Charbonneau. Yeah, Thibodeau not projected. Center and right wing. Everyone's just center and right wing. Soto, team player. We'll leave that. Heslop, puck handling. He's a playmaker. Has decent leadership. His physicals are okay, but his defensive is terrible. Pick 181 is what he's projected. He's not uncoachable, but he's close. We're not going to do that. Talk is also a strong candidate. Counterattacking forward. But I feel as though these roll ratings are a bit too low. Not really standing out anywhere. His passing is decent, but not really jumping off the page for me. We're going to take the chance in the 4th round for Carbonneau. I think I said Charbonneau before. So LaRose is still there. I wouldn't mind a goalie though. Henneberry, decent. And then Kiersey. Kiersey looks pretty good. But how is his defensive rating so low for a defender? Please tell me his weakest game is his defense. The weakest part of his game is physical. Gets injured a bit more than you like to see. Another injury-prone team. I don't think I want that. We'll just go strictly potential. Tulk, 20 though. I don't really want to draft. I don't want to make a habit of drafting 20-year-olds. Zugan's there. Another right winger whose passing is decent and physicals are defensive are terrible. Serlin also looks decent. Looks like we're now in the 1-star territory. More of a center. I do think we need left wing though. Left wing or defense. Quinn Kennedy. Quinn Kennedy looks pretty basic everywhere. He is a playmaker, but he is 19. 144 is what he's projected. Herman Liv. Herman Liv, 2-star, 2.5. And again, he's not projected to be drafted. Henneberry, LaRose, Sharkey. QMJHL. His defensive rating is the worst that I think I've ever seen in this game. And that includes OHL as well. That is wild. Gastron. Gastron looks okay. Determination's a little bit low. Defensive rating obviously will improve, but he's not, again, he's not projected. I don't think I'm going to pick a player that's not projected. Verdon, left wing and center. His faceoffs are terrible, so how is he a center? 70 grade last season. He only played 5 games. So maybe he could be a late bloomer. And yeah, he's not. I think we ended up looking at Verdon maybe beforehand. Zugan I know can play. Botano, I don't think we need any more centers. And then Davis. Again, no defensive rating. I guess we're going to kind of have to look at it a little bit more this way. Denis. Fact checking forward. Again, we might end up relying on our AI for some of this. Luke Brunin. I mean, 3-star, 126. We might take a chance on him. He's a little prone to controversy. How does a goalie get controversy? He also gets hurt too. I haven't had too many goalies get injured. Zaheski. I think we'll take Zaheski. Just at first look, he looks decent. Prone to controversy. Big game performer. I can use that. Biggest part of his game is physical, and yeah, he's prone to injury, but he makes the big game. That seems like contradictory. Justin Gendron. No, we'll take a chance on Zaheski. He is 17. So worst comes to worst, we can trade these players. There's nothing set in stone that we have to keep these players later on. Connor or Christopher Brown. I mean, I think we might take him. Can be counted on to avoid dwelling on his failures. Should be aware that he's a little prone to controversy. So is everyone. The weakest part of his game is physicals. How is that with everyone? Hopefully that doesn't affect his development. We'll kind of leave it at that. PETA, I feel as though we might want to grab. We do need a goalie. So I think in the 5th round, we're going to have to look for a goalie. We can just go for goalies here. He is at the top. Axelson's also one of them. And Frolov too. I do like Axelson's intangibles so far. We can probably grab him later though. Frolov looks bad. Like beyond bad. We'll leave him at that. Herenstam. Mental toughness, team player, positioning. I think I'm good with that. Patas. Yeah, we already looked at him before, but nothing's really jumping out. He did have an 898 save percentage in the minors, which isn't that great. Tonhauser, we did get last save. I don't think we got him as a free agent, but I don't think we end up going for him here unless there's nothing available. Andronov doesn't look bad. He's not projected to be scouted or to be drafted. And Medvedev's also another one that we might want to look at. Determination's okay, low shots, positioning. He's released from London Knights, but he's 17, so he can still find a team after, so we'll end up leaving them in our draft list there. We'll look at left defense. And Kiersey is the only one that's a 2-star there. He is 19, 127. I do think we looked at him before. Yeah, he gets injured too. Go figure. Bratti could be the next one that we end up getting as well. So with one of our fifths, so we still have like 3 6th-rounders after this. But we're still in the 5th round. And Balius looks good. But again, no defensive rating. What is with all these defenders without any defensive ratings? He's not projected to go either. Martin, Landon Young, a 9 defensive rating. So he's more of an attacking defender. Again, there's way too many of these. Hitting is also low. That is so weird. Angle. I am impartial to, he doesn't look too bad. At least there is some defensive rating there. His face-off's obviously not there. I'd rather them not waste points on that. You know what? I'm gonna get Angle. I know it's probably a bad pick, but we'll end up trying that anyways. We'll go for ability first. Frankie Morelli. His puck handling looks good. His hitting isn't terrible. At least there's some green in there. It's not all yellow or red. Face-offs, again, I'd rather not waste a point on that. Morelli, we're going to grab at 213. That's where he is, or Rogers. Ooh. Brian Rogers looks good. His hitting's a bit low. His checking's decent, but his offensive's there. He can be a 2-way defenseman. Speed. Let me guess, injury prone? Injury prone. Yes. Let's grab another injury prone player. I think we can get Morelli too. We'll grab Morelli now. And then let's look at just look at who's available. We'll do all positions here. We'll go for the best player. Could even be a 20-year-old Frasca. I don't mind that. Team player determination. His physicals are decent. And we're getting him way late too. Frasca could be a decent pick here. 175 though. He's a bit small. But these are all players that you're supposed to take a chance on. I think that's the end of the draft though. Justin LaRose. I think we might sign. We'll sign some players from here. Just to kind of take chances on. Heslop. His puck handling's pretty decent. And 181. Yeah, I will take a chance on you. And I feel as though Soto as well. Again, not much defensive. But I'm okay with taking the shot at those players. Yeah, Soto still no defensive. He wasn't projected to be drafted. I think we might want to go for a goalie. So Liv and Axelson we'll grab. And we'll kind of take a chance on that. Yeah, sure. Get as much minor. That doesn't affect me at all. And if Tannhauser's there, we might do it too. I think Tannhauser might have been picked up though. Frolov, no. And then Axelson, I think, was the other one. Yeah, we'll grab Axelson. And I kind of want to see where Tannhauser went. Just to kind of know. He was instrumental towards the end of it. I think he was a 6th-rounder last year. He goes to Utah, so our rivals. He doesn't look that great to start things off. So definitely a lot of the players that we got could eventually end up jumping out and being something in the later stages of it. But I am quite happy with the draft. I do think that we still need to kind of load up for next season. I'm not. I do think we took a bit too many injured players, or injury-prone players. But What's the likelihood that they all go off at the same time? And as long as it doesn't hurt their development, it should be fine for us. But I just kind of want to see if we end up actually getting regarded as a decent draft. Does look like we end up getting Lockshow. Burash as well. Liv ends up signing with us. Or will probably sign with us. Themis as well. So not bad. LaRose will let us know. Repkov, okay, and Delorier. So it didn't show a review there. So we're not featured in the review as the top ones. The best draft was probably the Panthers, Sharks, or Stars. And then, yeah, Phillips, Filtveyer, Vergolo, Anderson, and Zareski. We're not featured at least in any of those, so I'm okay with that. And then Aiden Young, I've had him in a couple years before, but we'll take a bit closer look at where they kind of stack up in terms of our players. Gavin McKenna, and Rubric. Rubric is who we want. We want him next season for sure. So I do think that the season is going to be a bit more tricky as well. Breck Liskey we had, but I think we had him as a free agent. And Stenberg. So decent amount of Vernhoff as well. So there is a decent amount of prospects. We're not going to be a contender for this season for sure. So there are a decent amount of players in the first round that could be good. And that do sound somewhat familiar. Obviously, owner goal. We didn't draft a local player. I don't like that one. I feel as though it comes up every single season. And it does seem very inauthentic is what I would use. So Martoni and Artemonov are the top two prospects. Martoni is definitely the top one though. So at least we did pick decent. He is our best prospect. Palika is also not featured really in the top two there. Gordon's still up there, but players that we drafted all the way probably down here. Chris Furrow sure gets 11th. And then Snuggerud. Cash Kosh, I just got him for the name mostly. He's our 14th. And then Mersic, I think we had on our team as well. Caden McCann and Chris Furrow at 19 and 20. And then Colin Ralph actually towards the bottom. Fisher still there. And then Brown, I think we end up grabbing as well this season. OHL mainly, but we'll look at where that features us in terms of prospect rankings. We'll look at system rankings, and currently we are 11th. So Martoni, Palika, Dvorsky, Snuggerud, and Artemonov. We could look at getting some players here. Obviously, we won't grab any players that played for Philly. That just seems wrong. Obviously, I know what Luchenko ends up being. Ripken as well, I know what he ends up being, so we won't end up grabbing anyone from our previous saves. Demidov as well, but could look at Hensler. I don't know how they're ranked so high. How is Nashville number 1 when they have a 27th, a 34th, and a 43rd? That seems kind of odd, but I will probably look at some of this to kind of maybe poach some of their players. I think that might be the best bet, but we'll look at what we have for next season. We do have 2 first rounders, a third, 3 fourths, 2 fifths, and 2 sixes, and a 7th. So we might get rid of the 7th there, and then 2027 doesn't really feel that much like a rebuild season because we don't have that many picks. We're missing our 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then 2028 is still fresh. So we'll probably end up making some of those. We'll end up joining up for the start of the season and see what kind of trades we manage to do to start that off. But hopefully you guys like this episode. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and thank you for watching. Until next time.